Like we said, today is also local election day here in Iowa. But why are local and state elections so important? After all, we are in an off year. It's not a presidential election year or even a midterm one. So for those answers, we turn to Dr. Keith Boeckelman with Western Illinois University in Macomb. Dr. Boeckelman, thank you so much for being here with us. Obviously every single election matters, but what's the importance of these local races?
Well, I think the local races are the things that produce the policies that are closest to the people in many ways. So if you want good schools, if you want good parks, if you want effective policing, if you want good libraries, if you want clean water, all those things are really delivered by local officials. And so while people don't feel as connected to some of these local elections, they are clearly very.
It seems like an interesting dichotomy of, local elections impact your life on oftentimes on a much bigger scale than some of these national elections. But like you said, people don't feel as close or as connected to candidates. Why might that be?
Well, I think there are a few reasons. One is some of these positions, like many city council positions, school boards, things like that, are part-time positions. So the politicians don't always have the staff to be able to connect as closely with people. They don't have big campaign staffs. Ironically, the nonpartisan nature of many of these elections um, also decreases turnout sometimes. Um, Parties are very key in getting out the vote for partisan elections, but for nonpartisan elections, each individual candidate has to do it on their own, and sometimes that's a difficult sell. I guess I would just add to your earlier point, if you look at the total amount of money spent by local governments in the U.S., it's about $2 trillion. And so while that is much less than the federal government's budget, it really is comparable to the discretionary budget of the federal government. So it's a significant amount of money.
Mm.
And I guess another thing I would add is you can affect your local taxes in these local elections. For example, Eddendorf has a provision on the ballot now to build a new police station to spend up to $27 million to do that. And so you can even affect your local tax bill directly in a way you can't in federal elections.
Well, in our region, who do you see turn out the most when it comes to local elections?
Well, in general, local elections tend to be more upper income people. They tend to be whiter. They tend to be older. It's kind of hard to gauge whether that's exactly true in this particular election. But there was a 2021 study that looked at school board elections in Illinois, among other states. And what it found is that the electorate was much wider than the composition of the student body itself. And that had implications for how well the gap between white and minority students. So it can have important policy implications, the disjunct between the electorate and the actual composition of the student body in the schools.
Mm. Well, with you being on a college campus, WIU down in Macomb, I know Illinois is not voting today. It's on the Iowa side. But still, what are some trends that you're seeing among the young voters that you're around every day?
Well, like the all voters in general, they tend to be more plugged into national elections. And I really try to explain to them how important local elections are. Several years ago, I had a student who took this to heart a little bit, and he actually ran for city council here in Macomb, where I'm located. And we have a district that is mostly students, very low turnout. So he won like 8-7 or something like that, a very low turnout election. But I think it does show how students can make a difference, and if they do get plugged into this, they can shape how the local government. And so the students are concerned with issues like landlords, policing, things like that. And so this student was able to make a difference on that. But it is a hard sell for people, just like it is for the electorate as a whole, to really understand the impact of local elections and to get them interested.
Hmm. Dr. Boeckelman, we really appreciate your insight today. We'll have to wait and see what the turnout is in our local elections today, particularly in Davenport for mayor. We got our eyes on that. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank
For
you.
you guys. All you have to do is text the word vote to the number on your screen. That's 309-304-0888, and we'll send you everything you need to know before heading to the polls today. Once again, that is vote to 309-304-0888.